What is up, everybody? Welcome to a new episode of your Fratterish podcast. My name's Gary, and I'm your host for today. Just once again, one more week. Yeah, here we are. Tell me, buddy. Tell me, my friends, ladies and gentlemen, how are you doing in this cool, not to say cold day, right? Cold Friday. Well, looks like fall is here with us, right? Fall has just arrived, guys. And some of you would just say, like me, for example, that it's totally, completely welcome, considering the really, really hot, melting, boiling days that we had in the past 2 months, right? So yeah, that's it. Summer is officially over. This is the first episode in fall, or in autumn if you're in England. Yeah, British people say autumn, not fall. That's an American thing. Anyways, today we're not gonna talk about seasons, of course. I'm just warming it up. I'm just letting vent, making the room a little easier, okay, to talk about something even easier. That is comedy. Yeah, I mean easier in terms of relaxing, right? More specifically, humor. Okay, I would like to understand it a little bit more. Okay, talking about it, and of course, most importantly, doing that in English with you guys, so you can not only listen to something interesting, something that, well, I dare to say all of us appreciate. Okay, some of us more than others, but yeah, okay. I never met anyone who never laugh, who'd never laugh, who would never find anything funny, okay. Of course, on the other hand, I met several people with several different types of sense of humor, if that makes any sense. But all of them at least enjoyed something that could make them potentially laugh. And this is just more than any biological necessity. It is a social necessity. It's a psychological necessity, because can you imagine a life where we would never laugh, would never smile, everything would be as serious as it can be? Well, I risk to say that at the beginning of humanity, probably it was like that, so humor is something, making a long story short, I'm not saying this as a specialist, but as an obvious understanding, as an obvious conclusion, right? It's an obvious conclusion that is something inherited, connected, related, embedded, why not, to our evolution, to our own evolution as a species, as humanity. So yeah, this is definitely something important. I'm not here to talk history, deeply, like I'm not a historian. I didn't dig deep into it, I even thought about doing that, but that would just kind of lose the point here, the whole point here, that is open the mic and have a sincere and upfront conversation with you guys. So this is pretty much what we're gonna have in this episode. So this is your moment to stand up, go grab a cup of coffee. Yeah, no soda anymore. Summer is over, ladies and gentlemen. So go grab a cup of coffee, tea, hot chocolate, whatever it takes for you to relax and be warm and comfy. So sit down, relax with it, and please join me in this conversation, in this fruitful conversation. Let's go. So the first thing I would like to ask you is, what is it that make you laugh? What makes you laugh? What do you find funny? Well, today we have multiple ways, okay? Not only today, but in the past 50 years or even more, we have multiple ways of smiling, of laughing. One of the most popular today, if not the most popular, not saying the most efficient, it's totally relative, personal. Some people love it, some people don't like it at all. But anyways, I'm talking about stand-up comedy. Well, if you're not familiar with the term, it's basically that guy standing up, hence the name, on a stage in front of a crowd, in front of several people, and just with a microphone in the hand, talking and getting people to laugh. Okay, telling, of course, funny stories, cracking some jokes. Okay, here's a verb you can use. Okay, you can say tell a joke, or you can say crack a joke, right? Crack basically is like cracking, and the sound itself, the sound explains itself, I guess. But anyways, so this guy is called a stand-up comedian, right? It's really something. It's really, I love it personally. Okay. But some of my acquaintances, family, friends, etc. don't like it very much, so I can understand the other side of it, okay? Because one thing about the modern stand-up comedians, especially in Brazil, is that they curse a lot, okay? They say foul word, they use foul language, okay? If you don't know foul, F spells F-O-U-L, okay? Foul language, that is cursing, that is saying bad words, talking about sensitive topics. And yeah, this is one of the biggest sources of controversies in the modern world, in the world where people, I don't mean to be mean, I don't mean to sound rude by saying that, but people tend to exaggerate in how much they get offended, you know? Anyways, as I said, it's controversial, okay? And okay, I get it when people say they don't like it because of that, okay? But yeah, I'm a person who defends freedom above all, okay? I'm not saying we can have freedom for everything, can be free all the time, no, okay? Freedom with responsibility, right? But anyways, I don't think that the sensitive topics that exist in the stand-up comedy thing are a problem, okay? I just think that stand-up comedians don't have their way into public, how can I put it? Public broadcasting, okay? Broadcasting, I mean TV, radio, meaning in order to have a contact with a stand-up comedian, you have to go to him or her, okay? Meaning you have to pay, you go to his or her concert, go to their concert, get to their YouTube channel or any other online platform. So if you're there, okay, and you hear something you don't like, you just, in the virtual thing, you just close it, shut it down, go to a different page, and physically you just leave the room. That's it, you know? So I don't agree with the thing of, just to make a quick comment, it's totally not the point of this episode, but yeah, I don't agree to the thing of, oh, let's sabotage this guy, I hate this word, let's cancel this person, as if like cutting the source of living of a person, you know, that has a public, you know, just because it's something cool. No, it's not, you know. Of course, there are exceptional cases in some things that are really criminal, okay? But this is not the case with 99% of the controversies out there, I must say, okay? Or anyways, you feel free to disagree to me. Let's agree to disagree here. That's a free podcast, as I was just saying. I'm a defender of freedom above all. So that's it. The stand-up comedy has this feature, I would say, of being raw. Okay, I don't know if you know the meaning of this word. Raw is spells R-A-W. Okay, go check it in a dictionary. Yeah, that's it. That's the meat before you cook it, before you put it on, expose it to the fire. It is raw. Okay, So this is the thing with stand-up comedy. It is raw, okay? And we must respect that above all, guys, because trying to close our eyes to what society has become is even dangerous, even more dangerous than trying to ignore it. Like because okay, if you feel offended to the controversial things, and I don't judge you at all, but if you feel, I think perhaps you should talk to your friends, to people around you who appreciate that thing, that humor, and maybe try to understand their point of view. Why do they find it funny? I am confident that if you respectfully, both of you, sit, with a beer or anything and talk, some of you will see that they were wrong. Like, you may see that, like, hey, okay, I still believe that this is something delicate, but perhaps I overreacted, I exaggerated my feelings, my stance, right, towards that, or the other way around. You can convince the person, like, hey, you're right, I shouldn't be laughing at it, it's not funny, So it's a matter of respect, it's a matter of ball to the ground, I would say, like, putting the ball to the ground is an expression we use in Brazil to calming the situation, to, putting the soccer ball on the field. So let's play, let's do it according to the law and respectfully. Well, another very famous and popular and way less controversial than stand-up comedy are the movies, the comedy movies. Okay, well, I remember vividly when I was younger, watching movies on TV, funny movies. When a funny movie was announced to be aired soon on TV, I remember the whole school, when I was back in the days, I was a kid or a teenager. I remember the whole school would be talking about it, how funny this was. There wasn't much spoiler around those days, so people absolutely had no idea, because I can only imagine that in school today, someone would just walk up to their friend and say, hey, you know what movie is airing on say Globo or SBT next week, this one. And certainly someone or more will say, oh, I know this movie, this is really cool, blah blah blah, lots of spoilers. Or the other way around, oh, this movie sucks, lots of spoilers. And back in the days, we had this advantage among many others, hundreds of other disadvantages, of course, comparing to the present days. But one advantage was like, oh, this movie is gonna be there, and it seems, based on the TV trailer, funny as hell, and the expectations that we would build around it were so interesting to mention, because we would be waiting for this movie, and and then talk to friends and make sure that they would also watch it. And then most of the time we would laugh, because we didn't have many visual and auditive input when it comes to funny things. Let me make my point clearer. Today you open your cell phone, go to Instagram, TikTok, whatever, and then there's like lots of funny things, like one can spend the whole day laughing today. I feel like, I could do that. I just hold myself, like, so, because I have more things to do, like recording this podcast for you guys, for an instance, and that's it. So back in the days we didn't have that, so the comedy movies were like really funny. Who doesn't remember Jim Carrey's movies, like Ace Ventura, Dumb and Dumber, The Mask, right? And when I look at today's comedy movies, they're full with, again, foul languages, with sexual insinuations, and things like that, And don't get me wrong here, guys, I'm not a Puritan or anything like that, In the 90s, in the 80s, all of it was there, okay? But it was a at least the way I see it, way more discreet than it is today. So the producers, the actors would have, as far as I can tell, a harder job in making people laugh. Today sometimes I'm not making it general, not a general statement, but I feel like, due to the fact that saying cursing, saying bad words, or even kind of a teasing up people because of the controversial topics today, is a much more powerful weapon, because people in their 30s, 40s, or even 50s are kind of nostalgic, myself included, of the days where you could joke more, okay? And at the same time, we have this sense of responsibility towards the more modern world, like not to exaggerate on the things that we laugh at, because not everything is funny. We know that today, most of us at least, not all of us, but we understand that not everything that we would laugh about 20 years ago was funny. It's something to be joked, to be. Anyways, and then when people see that today, it's a kind of a restrained laughter that comes out again, and it's a powerful weapon. I'm afraid that's at least my impression, and the comedy movies today take their shots upon it, which in my humble opinion make them way worse than they were 20 years ago, but the world was way different 20 years ago anyway, so it's not a judgment, it's just a conclusion, as I say. Well, but aside from stand-up comedy or movies or streaming funny things, I believe that the oldest, okay, not to say outest, form of humor is still the most powerful. Okay, it was 1,000 years ago. Yes, I didn't get the number wrong. I mean, 1,000 years ago, it isn't what it is. It was as powerful as it is today. I'm talking about the daily humor, okay, the humor around real people, okay, because, well, in the what I call, what an original name, real world, there isn't much controversy, okay. We joke people that are friends because of their music preferences, sexual preferences, religious preferences, soccer preferences, cultural preferences, and in my opinion, my humble opinion, as far as there is respect, mutual respect, in a mutual possibility of joking back and forth and something private, it's not a problem, Of course, you don't joke your friend with sensitive topics, even with non-sensitive topics, but anyways, especially with sensitive topics in public, because you don't know who can hear you, and how interpreted you're going to be, I'm not gonna give any examples here. You guys get my point. You're intelligent enough. We're all intelligent enough, so you know what I'm saying. But this is the real world, as I say, humor, the day-to-day jokes and sarcasm. I forgot to say sarcasm before, but yeah, it is a really powerful form of humor, or even the thing of laughing at things that aren't necessarily made to be laughed at, like someone stumbles and falls in front of you, for example, right? So this all makes me believe that humor, and of course comedy, that is the professional humor, I would put it this way, are really necessary, okay? As I said, I'm gonna bring it back. We have the controversial and sensitive topics of the modern world, which is an evolution, okay, apart from all the exaggeration, apart from all the politicism, the divisiveness, the whole thing of, oh, you're blue or you're red, like this thing. That, let's be honest, in the real world should not interfere our relationships with our family, with our friends, with colleagues, people around us, But despite of it all, humor is important, and respect is important. Human should be free, in my opinion. People should be allowed to say. Speech should be free. Even if there's a crime involved in it, but there's a crime in it and it's recorded, it's public, the person's going to pay for it. End of story. It's way better than a racist. I prefer a racist person going up publicly and open himself or herself up and getting punished by that as a crime that it is, thank God, than silent and barbecuing with me on the weekend, okay, in which I will find out, or worse, never find out that he or she is a racist person. Just to give one example. You guys are smart, as I said, smarter than me, I can tell. So yeah, speech should be free, humor should be free, and respect should be. Unfortunately, it is not, okay? The first two aren't as free as I would like they were. But on the other hand, respect isn't as absolute as I think it should and could be, okay? But this last one, the respect, comes down to all of us, the way we treat each other, the way we put ourselves on each other's shoes, as they say. And that's up to us, okay? So let's keep making ourselves laugh. Let's continue doing that. But of course, more importantly, learning in the process, because every funny story is a story before being a funny story. I don't know if that makes any sense, but as a story, it is also a lesson, okay? As a lesson, it is an opportunity for us to evolve, to grow, to step forward, to keep walking, and bring as many people with us as possible, until at the end of it all, we're all gonna be together. Wherever it is that we're gonna be together, we're gonna be together. So why not to pretend that we are already together? Unfortunately, we're not as humanity, but we should, in my opinion, and let's do little by little, let's do the ends working towards that. That's all I had to say today. Thank you so very much for your precious and lovely company. I see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.